All right. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are on this beautiful planet. Welcome to the Inner Circle Live Asian session. I'm your host for tonight's session, Benny Allen, and I'm definitely happy and grateful that you all are here with me this evening as we look to close out the week, taking a look at the technicals and the fundamentals to see what we can take advantage of in the Forex market and also to track some of the progress on what we've been looking at for the past week. So, without further ado, let's make sure that we turn off any and all distractions, grab a pen and paper, take lots of notes, and let's make sure that we participate and engage. So if everybody can hear me loud and clear, drop me a one in the chat. Let me know that you're all ready to go. All right, I appreciate it. I see all the ones coming in. So let me exit out of here and we can get things started, right? And as always, we'll go straight over to the Forex factor. We know we had a lot of news come through today. We see that we were waiting for, right, the rate decision coming out of the UK from the Bank of England, and we can see we were expecting 25 basis points. And we got that 25 basis points. We have Governor Bailey speaking. He's always interesting to hear. If you click on, not this article, there's a few good ones. Some of the tweets, right, from Governor Bailey. Past rate hikes will weigh more economy in coming quarters. The NPC factors this into policy decisions. And you can see going through here, growth is still weak despite upward revision. Okay, so it's talking about the UK GDP. We are not doing we are not doing a directional steer on rates today. We will be guided by the evidence. In other words, we're going to be data dependent, right? So a little shift in that tone ahead of today. Investors still expecting at least two more rate rises in the coming month. That's what investors are expecting. He's saying, hey, it's going to be data dependent. So we talked a little bit about that yesterday prior to the decision coming out and then the rate statement. Okay. Bailey, we push back on some arguments that say the underlying cause of inflation is down to past monetary policy. So he said, hey, we're gonna be data dependent moving forward. You got investors betting that they're gonna have two more rate hikes before a potential pause. Okay. So that's some of the news coming out of the UK today. We also got from the United States, the PPI came in, right? 0.3% was the projection. Month over month, it came in at 0.2%. But the unemployment claims, right, came in at 264 on a forecast of 245. So if you come over and you can see here in this article, the number, and this is why this is big today, right? And we saw some moves occur. The number of Americans filing for unemployment benefits rose by 22,000 to 264,000 on the week ending May 6th, the most since October 2021 and well above market expectations of 245,000. Okay, so it's indicating some cracks. Okay, so you got some concern. So we always talk about how the dollar can play both sides of the coin, right? So you saw the dollar get a boost. So even though we saw the producer prices rise less than expected, okay, which means, hey, it's creeping down a little bit, right? That inflation and that pressure on producer prices, okay? But at the same time, right, you got unemployment claims rising, so you're starting to see some of those effects. So you start to get some growth concern creeping out. Okay, so what you saw on the DXY today with the dollar is you saw that dollar take that kind of that safe haven effect and it got a boost, right? We found support and you can see we got bullish, right? So we saw that bump. Okay, we saw continued downside correction on a lot of your yen crosses. We talked about that last night, waiting on those, right, to give us evidence that hey, the euro to pound is ready to continue long. Be patient with the yen crosses. but looking at potentially fading that yen strength that we're seeing right now. We know that the yen has the ability to act as a safe haven as well. Okay. Also out of Japan, where was it? Disappear already. I have to find that article. There's some other positive data that came out of Japan today as well. But still, all in all, in regards to their monetary policy and what I look at for the long term, I'm still looking at fading that yen strength, just waiting for the right low price to get going. So what else did I want to talk about today? Oh, a couple good articles here from Reuters. Okay, that's the source that I use often. I know people ask a lot of times what sources do we like to use. So we definitely follow Financial Times, Reuters, things like that. So I am going to share this article in the chat. I thought it was a pretty good article covering a lot of the things that was going on in the market today. Dollar stronger as market rethinks monetary policy outlook. So in this article, they're talking about, you know, people thinking about the Fed towards the end of the year, you know, cutting rates and things like that, pausing, and then potentially cuts this year. Some investors are starting to rethink the potential for the Fed to cut rates, especially on the back heels of some revisions coming out of Europe in regards to their monetary policy, so possible revisions, and then also with what happened in the UK today and the rhetoric coming from Governor Bailey. So if you look at potential pauses coming out of the Eurozone eventually, when we move down the road towards the latter half of the year, when you talk about the UK saying, hey, we're going to be data dependent. If you look at the fact that the dollar, we may not see those cuts, then you start to look at a little bit of monetary policy divergence there, and the dollar could be pushing bullish here eventually over the long term, especially if you continue to get growth concerns. The dollar can definitely be that safe haven as you see dollar rises from flight to safety. So few things at play. I'm going to put this in the chat for everybody, this article, so you can read it. Definitely read it. And then also here at FX Street, there was a pretty good article talking about the dollar as well. Dollar rallies amid risk aversion. Markets eye U.S. debt ceiling talks. Okay, so concerns right over the debt ceiling and what's going on in Congress and the White House right now. So there's some fear out there. So I'm going to put this in the chat for everybody to read as well. Okay, FX Street. Another source that I like to use is MarketPulse.com. This is a site from Awanda, broker. Ton of data here, right? This is another good one as well. All right, so different articles, different opinions and things like that. If you like to read up, so I'm gonna put this Market Pulse in there. This link as well. All right, you're welcome. You're welcome, Brandy. All right, so this is pretty cool site, right? And it's bringing in articles from a ton of other sites as well. So it's kind of like a one-stop shop, kind of like trading economics and things like that. You're welcome, Dave. So just some things, right? So you can stay attuned, stay abreast of what's going on out here. It's definitely a lot of back and forth right now. But hey, one thing that I know from a technical perspective is that regardless, that market moves in waves. And so we're going to check out some of the things that coming out of the weekly ritual, coming through the week, some of the things that we've been talking about, seeing some of those setups play out. So of course, we'll just start all the way up at the top for our little close out the week and looking at the review. The Aussie Swiss, right? We were looking at the short after the correction. See here. Okay. So this is one from a while back, and we just went over this a little bit last night. Hey, is in it this area? So this is a classic move here, right? We got the 80-20 that went through two take profit levels, 137 pips out of the zone. And right, so not bad. 55 pip stop. Almost got good, didn't. Came into daily support, pushed up into that sell zone, and now, right, we're getting short. Okay, we're short on that now. Moving back to the downside. So I actually need to close this out now. Okay, and looking to move short on this to the downside. And you can see, right, it came into that sell zone, those optimal levels, and now you've got the trend continuation move, like so, that we're playing. Let's see if I can get this out. Okay, should actually did this last night. But so now, right, we've got that pullback in that 61.8 zone. So if we're going to get a continued sell-off in the Aussie, right, and that trend to the downside continues, look, this is how we play the game, right? Boom, it came into our zone. Counter move, right, is over. Okay. And now, okay, we move to that D extension. Okay. C to D push potentially. Okay. At least that's the idea. And so far, so good. So we know that, okay, so we take that entry to the upside out, and you can see how this is starting to move to the downside. Now, some areas that you can take profit, right? This is a huge C to D move. It take a while to get there, right? This is the idea. So out of that zone, we're looking at 190 pips, but there's areas, right? You want to take profit. Maybe you want to take some off the trade at the B boundary. So like so. Okay. So many ways you can set it up, right? Maybe I want to take some off at the B boundary if price moves to this level. Maybe I want to take another third off at the 127 area, okay? As it moves down, okay? So I'm fading this move right into the zone, fading that short now. Any questions on the Aussie Swiss? Right? You can see it. You can see it from the daily, right? Fading this level here. Okay. Has support becoming future resistance. Worked its way back up. Fading this level, we got a stochastic, right? That's overbought, looking to try to turn over. So that's the trade I did. Risk to reward is set up. Made money to the upside. Now we're looking to try to play this move back to the downside. We'll see how that plays out. All right. If you plan it, manage it, right? It's moving to the downside pretty good. Manage your trade. All right. The Aussie dollar. Okay, it's another one. All right. Okay. All right. Moving to the downside off the break. Let's see if we can get a continuation moving short on this, right? Had a trend line drawn, got the break. Okay, so we'll see if we can get this to move back down to support. See how long the dollar wants to, hold his bullish stance. But if you get concerns and you get risk aversion, right? Those words, risk aversion. Well, we know the Aussie has been moving bullish, right? Correcting. Well, the question becomes if we move into risk off, somebody tell me what typically happens with commodity pairs, commodity currencies.
Repeat that, I'm sorry.
What typically happens if we end up in a risk off scenario? What typically happens with your commodity currencies in risk off scenarios? Right, they get bearish. They get bearish, right? They get bearish. That's all right, Brandy. I appreciate the participation. Right? They typically tend to get a bit bearish, right? And sometimes it can depend on why the market is moving risk off and things like that. But typically, you see, right, some of your commodity currencies see a decline, right? Oh, that flight to safety. Okay, and that's what you're seeing right here. That's what you're seeing, and we got that break. Okay, so you can see it all comes together, right? So dollar stronger, dollar rises from flight to safety, right? U.S. dollar rallies amid risk aversion. We saw a little bit of yen strength. You got some dollar strength. It's playing the safe haven, and you see, right, what happens here on this Aussie dollar play. So we'll see. We'll manage that, right? Just shot at 4 hour 382, turned over. So we'll continue to manage that to see, right, if it wants to continue to make a downside move, right? And it could. See how it's ranging? It's respecting that level, that 6804, 67, 69 daily level, and it's looking like it's trying to move back to the downside. So that's the Aussie dollar. Any questions on that? Yep. Hold on 1 second. Sorry about that. There we go. Everybody should be good now with the mic. My apologies.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Thanks for the heads up on that. Let's take a look at, I know another one we take a look at is the cash Swissy. Check the progress on that one to the sell side. You know, that was bouncing around a little bit. Okay. Okay. Let's see here. There we go. All right, you can see it finally broke to the downside here in that zone. Look at that, right? We always talk about how it starts to range, right? You get those 80-20 plays, and if you see that the market starting to pause and range, right? You see how it didn't go straight to that D extension, just continuous momentum. Look at that huge, isn't that amazing? That huge bullish candle right up into that support. And then it's like just a huge fight occurred right there. And now we've got that move down. Okay. So if you're shorting that 80-20 slightly up right now, right, just continue to monitor and maintain it. Just a 4 hour level. But ultimately, we'd like to see that 382 hit. Okay. So let's see if we can get there. Right, so we might be in line here, right? You guys will start to just eyeball stuff and see it. Maybe on your 15-minute here eventually, right? You can see that impulse leg moving to the downside. You can drop a fib on that. And you see where we may find that support and pull back. Okay, so that's a sub fib play there. You may find support and pull back to retest the area, but ultimately, right, whether you play that or not is up to you. But ultimately, we would love to see that correction. Okay, even if we would like to get long, we want to see that correction. We need a lower price. Okay, so it's doing a lot of dancing. Right, it's like, hey, we found our spot. We trade small. We use great risk management. And while this was doing the dance, we can move on the other pairs, right? Try to find some more price action. Okay, so that's where we are now. So that one's slightly up out of the 80-20 zone. Any questions on that cash, Swissy?
Nope.
Yep. All right. Another one we were looking at in terms of a large move, smaller move versus a zero CAD. Okay, so we'll go back through this one here. So we know that, right, these zeros move pretty high, right? Pretty bullish. But we know now fundamentally we're starting to get some slight revisions out of the ECB, right, in regards to how aggressive they've been with those hikes, maybe change the tone a little bit, maybe, hey, pause, data dependent potentially. So, but it plays right in line with our technical levels. It's amazing how that happens. So we know that from a weekly perspective, we're up there, right? We're up there into a key level. We got some extra confirmation with an 80-20 zone on the weekly. Okay, so if we come down to the daily, you can see where this price has been coming down. We know that we got that double bottom around the 236 it took off, but we didn't accelerate to that D extension. Okay, so we know ultimately, hey, it may correct all the way down, but we also knew that from this double top, this price crashed through this level pretty hard, right? The super bearish, found support, correction. So the idea was, hey, we know ultimately price may want to seek out that daily 382 to the downside, but there's a smaller play here. Okay. There's a smaller play here that could be occurring where we start to get a correction, right? Before a continuation down. All right. So you got that initial move, initial swing. Now it's, hey, 80-20 zone daily support. Do we find buyers to push this to retest the backside of that trend line? And if so, do we want to buy that before a potential continuation? So that's the whole trade idea. And we're starting to get some magic to it there, right? It's up slightly. We got a reaction, right? So far out of this zone off the support, we got a reaction. It's like 100 pips, right? It's like 100 pips to the upside. That may be enough for some folks. Some folks may already be out of the trade, depending on what time frame you're taking that level, right? If you're trading on the 5-minute, 15-minute, this has moved quite away for you already, right? The swing has moved. Here's a 1 hour. Look at that. And this is your 1 hour look, right? We're just zooming in. Okay. So look at this zone, right? We know support resistance is never just a line. That's just how we mark it up. This is a zone. And you can see how we got that reaction out of that area. If we take this down to the 15, we zoom in even more, just get more granular with it. You can see, right, how clean that acceleration was to the upside, right? If we go to the 5, right, look how clean that move is. Okay. Even on this 5-minute, if we come in and we start dropping bids, you can see where this is, right? 80-20 type setup just shy of a 382. Okay. So if that counter trend move is going to play out from that sub fib on a higher time frame, okay, we look for, hey, we get this correction, then we're looking also for a continuation back up to at least, right? We play that at 4. Here's that 382 level, 4-hour 382 target. So in essence, it's saying, hey, there's a potential to buy back to this 4-hour 382. Oops, take this out. Okay. Back to that 382. Hold on 1 second. Yeah. Right? So getting back long. So that's how you can work that down to the time frame. This is the initial move here. So we're just looking for that to climb a little bit higher, right? If you're thinking bearish overall, just wait for your high price and then look to get short. Questions on the Euro CAD? Maybe you can catch that one. Yeah, catch it on the pullback, right? If you want to make that long play, try to get it back to that TP1. Yep, maybe. All right. I know the other one was similar to it was the Euro Aussie. I didn't have a look at that one today. That setup. Oh wow. Ooh, my goodness. Anybody take this ride? I missed it. Right.
Yes, sir.
Who was that?
Joy.
Joy? Oh man. I had it set up. I had my notes on it. Man. My goodness. And that's a Euro Aussie too, so that's a huge move. That's huge. Right? If it don't hit that D, it's going. Look at that. Man, what is that? 145. 140, 145, TP2. Man, it's textbook there. Right? Nice range and a breakout. Hold on 1 second, everybody. All right, sorry about that. Okay, so yep, this is it's huge. Can everybody hear me? All right, did I lose my? Hold on. Stop. Everybody can hear me. Okay, seems like my sound disconnected. Okay, all right. So man, that's a big move. Well, Joyce says she took that. Anybody else take this trade? All right, so that's the big move. That's a big move, right? So we know this larger play here, okay, is that 80-20. We saw that correction, but hey, you get extended, these impulse legs, okay, these impulse legs find support. That's stochastic, right? It's in the buy zone. So that may continue to run for a while. We know when you get these huge moves, right? The market likes to take back a percentage of that. That's why we use the fibs. Okay. So nice correction play. Nice correction play. All right. So that's the Euro Aussie, right? And you have to find your spots, and you have to pull a trigger and let it ride. It might happen on Monday. It might happen on Tuesday, maybe Wednesday, Thursday. Maybe it dances around for a week. But hey, you know what you're risking before you ever take the trade. And so it's all good. You're not trading so large that you're tying your account up while you're waiting on it, right? It's a beautiful thing. All right. Another setup was the I know that Ryan was talking about covering too, was the Euro NZD. And look at that, right? Coming in at TP1. Okay. All right, let's go, everybody. Let's go, right? 80-20. And they dance around forever. Sometimes it seems like, oh my goodness, I don't know if this is going to happen. And then we say, hey, what do we need? We need a catalyst. We need something to happen fundamentally to make this all work. We need some gasoline for the engine, and then it gets going. Okay. Okay. So that's coming right in at TP1. That's out of the zone. It's a beautiful swing there, 180 pips or so. Anybody play that Euro NZD setup?
Yes.
Awesome. Congratulations. Okay. All right. Now, if you're sitting here and you say, I'm not taking these setups, no worries. It takes time, even if you're in the demo, because I work my tail off to mark my charts up forever in the day. But for some reason, right, in the beginning, I had that mental block to where I wasn't taking the setups. Right? Right? The fear of being wrong, right? Putting my money on the line, right? That's why we preach risk management so much. And doing your top-down analysis and not cheating yourself, because it's the repetition and you seeing it over and over and over again that ultimately will help you get beyond that mental block and you start taking the trades, right? So it's so because you're not going with them all, you don't. But you have to know that I've won the war before it started because I've already figured out my risk management. Everything is systematic in your approach. It's the only way your edge is going to play out over time. Okay. So that's where we are on the Euro NZD. We know, right? We've come right in at this 382 on the daily, but look at the zone where the initial move reacted, right? Look at where we initially spotted, right? The 80-20 on the daily and the impulse move to the downside. Right? Now it's just settling down, and you have a correction going on. So it's the same thing, right? We've seen this on multiple pairs now. Same thing. It's like a rhythm to this market. Okay, it's like a rhythm to the market. All right. Let your trades run. Okay. All right. Big moves. Big moves. And we know, right? You hear it all the time. We're like, well, those type of moves don't come around that often. You hear a lot of things out there, but you see how we're constantly in this group finding these larger setups. Okay. Over and over and over again. Okay. Just have to be patient. Right? Just like we always say, patience pays. So that's the Euro NZD. The other short we were looking at in these Euros was the Euro Swissy. So we'll take a look at it, right? That retest and that move to the downside. And you can see that it's just slowly, it's just grinding, right? It's just grinding. Okay. This is this this move here, right? And it's pushing down. There was another here. Right? This is what we were taking a look at last night. Okay? So it's a Swissy pair. Swissy pairs get choppy, but it's still following that path to the downside. Okay? It's just grinding slowly. It's moving sideways, but it's still trying to continue bearish, right? This will probably take forever, but that's okay, right? Just continuing to watch it. Okay, so out of that 61.8 zone, we didn't quite get to that 786, right? But out of that 61.8 zone, that's 72 pips. And depending on where you set your sell limits, if you use them, it may or may not have caught 786 straight, setup sell limit there. But just off the 61.8, you're down 70 pips or so on that. Questions on the Euro Swiss? All right. Euro USD. I was looking for her. I don't see Carolyn on here. I know she was short. Anybody else playing that Euro USD short setup that we were talking about? I believe 1 hour. That's where that was showing up. Let's see. AJ, yes, awesome. Okay, awesome. Right. So we see where it's just finding, right? It's finding resistance right now. It's been nice and bullish, but we're finding resistance. And the technicals and the fundamentals kind of came together, right? We're at a high technical level. What would be the case and a catalyst for a move to the downside? Well, technically, we see that there's a possibility. Where's the fundamental support? Well, we saw what was going on. We're getting revisions from the ECB, potentially, right? Some of the rhetoric in regards to the monetary policy. You got investors starting to think, well, maybe we're not going to see the Fed rate cuts at the end of the year. You got the dollar playing the role of a safe haven amid some growth concerns, unemployment claims numbers and things like that, plus some other things globally, and you've got a correction, right, going on, right? So 1 hour scenario, right? We broke through that level, and right, we say potential 80-20 correction, lower price, right? And I believe, if I remember, a lot of these, I think a Euro USD may have been one that I added to the newsletter. Hold on 1 second. Let me bring this up. Yeah. So went ahead and put in the newsletter this week some trade ideas. I don't remember. Yep, we put the Euro USD in there, right? So these for our folks that use SmartTrader, were you guys able to play around with these a little bit and work with these links this weekend or this week? Yes. Joy. So this is what you do, Michelle. You're welcome. AJ, yes, this is what you do, right? This is what you can download them straight into your chart, right? So if we pull this up, okay, here's this Euro USD. If you scroll down right here, okay, you can import them. Right? If you use a SmartTrader, there you go. Right? Pretty cool. Okay. Yep. So you can do it, right? So you can click on them. Okay. GJ, they're active links inside of the newsletter, and then you could just click on them. And we do that just say, hey, look, if you want to, compare your markups, right? Things like that. Compare them. It's tough to see from that original spot. So if you download them, import them, then you can see them. All right, and see how they play out. See if it's similar to what you have. Right. So I know my mentors used to do that for us, so I thought it would be pretty cool. And then this book of the month here, the 10 Essentials of Forex Trading: The Rules, Returning Patterns, and Profits. That was by Jared Martinez, right, founder of Market Traders Institute. Right, you hear me talk about him all the time. All right, so this was the book that he wrote long time. All right, so pretty cool to check that out. But this is the Euro USD. If I can get it to work again, there we go. So we'll see if we get this continued correction to the downside. Okay, on that Euro USD. So it's starting to find some support now, but we'll see how that plays out. I don't know what is going on. Let's just reset it. Other one was the UCAD, which played out pretty good, right? That was another setup that we took a look at. And you can see that one too. Okay. Monster day for those euro, for the dollar, and then those euro pairs making those swings. So this is another 80-20 swing that went through TP1. So we come off that 118, right? Just made that U-turn over 150 pips to TP1. All right. So huge gainer there, right? If you took that position. Okay. So that was the UCAD. That one played out nicely. But you all can see, like, as we move through these pairs, you see, like, no matter what the currency pair, right? We can just cover this up, right? We can put a box over that. And that's what we're trying to get everybody to understand, how it's just a pattern-driven market, right? We can cover up the currency pair, but we should still be able to do our top-down analysis and use our Fibonacci sequence to find the same setup. Doesn't matter the asset class or anything. How many times have we seen this price action pattern? Okay. We see it over and over and over again. Huge move. So that's the dollar CAD. Looking at it from a higher time frame, right? You see how we came back in a similar area. We found some support, moved sideways, and then we had to break out, right? And so we could continue to see a further move to the upside. Okay. And a lot of times, the beautiful thing about these 80-20s is that if it's time for that reversal, major reversal, guess what? You caught it at the low or the high, depending on the direction that we're finding the 80-20, right? And I hope you guys are observing and seeing that. Like, man, if my bias, right, is for this to shift, I'm looking at my higher time frame, and it's like, wow, I got more upside to go. You just caught that. You just caught that at an extreme low, right? So there's all types of advantages, right, to these setups. Okay, so that's the Euro CAD. The one NZD JPY that we looked at. I can't remember if Ryan posted that in Discord or not, but this was the 1 yen cross because of where it was on the 1 hour. So you can see on this 4-hour chart here, we got a decent pullback, and then it started to pause at this 85.43. But if you come to the 1, you can see exactly what was going on, right? And we got the breakout back to the downside. So we had that one on the radar, and you can see it did exactly that. It moved right back down to the radar. Why? We talk about this all the time, right? When we talk about fundamentals, and they say, well, we say the NZD-JPY, when you're talking about risk on, risk off, and you talk about market sentiment, this is a great pair to look at and follow all the time, because yes, it's a commodity currency, okay, with an ultimate safe haven currency in the yen. Okay. So oftentimes when you have a situation where you have risk aversion, risk off, your commodity, we just talked about that, right? Your commodity currencies tend to slide, right? It tends to have a bit of a negative impact on a lot of your commodities. Okay. So you have the commodity currency, New Zealand, #1 commodity, New Zealand, dairy, right? So if you have growth concerns, demand concerns, right? If there's contraction in the market and there's less spending, right? Sometimes spending on those household products, those necessities, right, can take a hit. So New Zealand dollar taking a hit, the yen, the safe haven, down goes the New Zealand yen pair, okay? Moving to the downside with the concerns of some of the data that came out. Okay? So that's how we knew that, hey, we got a possible correction. It's hovering, right? So it looks like it's trying to double back to retest some areas, right? So we'll continue to follow that, but that's down pretty good, right? All right, so decent move there on the NZD-JPY. Any questions, right? Some people say, well, why don't you just look at the US dollar and Japanese yen for risk on, risk off? Because the dollar can play both sides of that coin, just like we're seeing, right? Again, US dollar rallies amid risk aversion. Okay, try to bang this home for everybody tonight. Okay, and why is this important? Dollar rises from flight to safety, right? So the dollar yen is not necessarily, right, the best pair to look at for this type of scenario when you talk about risk on, risk off and market sentiment, because the dollar can play both sides. Everybody follow me on that? Drop me a 2 in the chat. All right. So you see it, right? You see the downside move, right? So we know what we're seeing. Sometimes the why is important as well. Okay, the why is important as well. And that's the dollar Swissy. We take a look at that really quick. Okay. So you see here, it's still bouncing around. I like it long still. We got this B boundary, right? It looks like it's trying to settle. It is moving up pretty high. Maybe it just continues to range, but I feel like the Swiss is starting to cool off a little bit. And so we'll continue to see if we can get upside momentum on the dollar, but I'm liking that long for some reason, right? And so far it's decent. We'll see if we can continue to get a bullish push on this dollar Swiss. We shall see, right? It's real rangy. Just trying to go off of this leg, but just wanted to take a quick look at that. Here is, right, 4-hour 382 is the target. So that's the idea off that swing from right here. Okay. Super choppy, another Swissy cross, but this is where the larger idea comes from. Is can we get that move back long to that 382, like we've seen happen on so many other pairs that we've covered tonight. All right. Any other pairs? I'm still waiting. Like, what was it, like the GJ, things like that, right? Those continue to move south within the AB boundary. Not quite ready yet, right? Not quite ready. But it may be an area where we're starting to find that support. talked about that yesterday. We covered these in detail, so don't want to spend too much time on it. We're waiting. Here it is, right? It came right into that support level. So we want to make sure, right? Our stochastic is not quite where we need it to be yet, but we know we got to continue down move, right? When we looked at this last night, it was up here in this zone. And we said, hey, we'll see what happens. Be patient, right? And so let's continue to watch those yen crosses. I'm just not sold. We got the risk concerns today. But I don't know if that's been back and forth. I don't know if it's gonna be a long-term thing. So still looking to take advantage of a possible pound yen move. Long, just not quite where I want it to be yet. But we are at that daily support, so we may be getting there. So let's see what happens if we can get that stochastic move back in the buy zone. Any questions on the pound yen? Still long also. Michelle, is that on the which
this
one?
pair on this GK?
On the GJ? Yeah. Yeah.
I'm still waiting. I was waiting for like confirmation, but
Me too. Me
not
too.
yet. I thought it was gonna happen today. I was like, oh, it's lit. I was like, no.
I know, right? I know. I was hoping too with that on the hills, but we, just like we were talking about last night, if they start changing some of the rhetoric and backing off some of their hawkish tones from prior meetings, you can see continued declines. And that's exactly what happened. You got up there talking about that data dependent stuff. So that always can send things moving south, even though they gave 25 basis points as expected. Like we said, that was already priced in as always about that forward guidance. Yeah, you got a little dovish. So at least in my opinion. So still waiting on these yen crosses to settle down. But I just don't want to play yen straight. So we'll see how that goes. Gold. This has been sitting pretty high. This is one that we were tracking on the daily forever. So we, right, from the flag to now, it hit the extension like we called, right, 2050, and now it's starting to correct a bit. So it was sitting too high for me to take any type of shot after it made that long run, right? Once those extensions hit, I kind of look to pause for a bit to see what's going to happen, especially on a commodity like gold that could move violently. But that was a beautiful ABCD wave, right? Nice flag, right, to a continuation to an extension. Now you just kind of wait to see what's going to happen. Okay, we got the dollar rallying right now. Do that, right? If you look from the higher time frame, like look how high that's. I don't want to get caught buying up there. Just don't. Right, on gold. So continue. It's been a nice ride. It's beautiful, right? You're a weekly trader, right? Position trader. Ooh, that retest was nice. Look at that. Put your money on that. All right. I haven't taken a look at this crew because I know it's possible. I'm gonna take a look at the run. Oh, wait. Oh goodness. That's turning over now. The 80-20 a while ago. I remember. Played out. It's amazing. Now look at that U-turn. Anybody short oil? I'm not even playing it right now. Anybody else playing oil? No. He's looking at today and previous. Oh, I lost. I haven't played oil since 2020. What's going on, Ebony? Oh my goodness.
Nothing much.
Always good to see you on here and glad to hear your voice.
Glad to be here. Glad to be here. Miss y'all.
Absolutely. Appreciate you. Ryan, what's going on, man? Are you able to talk?
What's the deal, bro?
What's up, man? It's the end of the week. I know you're out there rocking and rolling in the streets.
Yeah, man, I'm on my way back to the crib now.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
Well, we're
yeah.
just wrapping up, man. Just wrapping up. It's good week in regards to price action. A lot of good lessons.
It
You know,
was. It
a
was.
lot of good lessons. Good week, right? So put another one together. You know, and like we always say, you don't have to be involved in all of them. These are big moves that we try to find. So maybe it's just one that gets it done for you for the week. You know, it doesn't have to be all of them if that's not how you like to trade, everybody. So, but that's good, man. Anything to add, right? Anything out there? I know you've been busy all day and all night. So,
No, I don't have anything to add, bro.
okay. All right. Appreciate you, man.
Appreciate you, babe.
Yep. So here we are, right? Looking at gold from the daily. Ooh, that's looking like that's got some more downside action. Matter of fact, right? This past level there, we got a new high here on oil. So we'll put that in. And link that down. Right. ABCD waves, everybody. ABCD waves. Enter, outer trend line break. And we're just continuing along the path. Okay. It's pretty nice. We'll see what happens. See how far it wants to I mean, if you get continued growth concerns that leads to demand fears, right? Still waiting on that big breakout from China that they've been talking about since the year started, this opening and the effect from China reopening and everything, right? We haven't quite seen all of that, but yeah, it is what it is. And we'll check this Bitcoin before we wrap it up, right? Crown type action. Okay, so we got that nice pullback to around that 32,000, but might be turning over again. Nice rally, right? Somebody tell me what zone that is. Anybody? Where we got price to reverse. 80-20. Better believe it. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. It's a very powerful zone. So maybe we will. I don't know. I don't know. Crypto stuff is tricky. But it's amazing how it still plays out technically. Maybe we will get back up there to that level. Who knows? That 36. Stubborn. Stubborn, that Bitcoin. Trying to figure it out. Bring on the regulation. It'd be a lot cleaner then. Continuation after that. We'll see. We shall see. Any questions on anything that we covered tonight? We got like 5 minutes left. Any other pairs that we want to take a look at? I know we blazed through. I just wanted to make tonight a quick review of a lot of the things that we've been following as a group. No. Pound Swiss. That reminds me of Pound Cat too. Let's look at Pound Cat setup. Let's take a look and see what I have on this Pound Swissy. That wave, right? Now we're corrected to the downside. That pound is bad. Look at that. Oh, we got. Woo. Short. Who's that? Beneath? Beneath, you playing that short? Did you sell that? Or are you trying to get long? Yes. My man. My goodness. Hey, all I can tell you on that is continue to manage that. That's a beautiful swing off that B boundary. Continue to manage that. I can't, my man got a little dovish out of the Bank of England. So I want to say, right, that pound is going to eventually get back long, but I don't know. Just keep taking a ride on that. Keep taking a ride. You can see it. It obviously is having a hard time making up its mind. I mean, look at it from a higher time frame. Just trade what you see. Maybe we get a retest of that daily level at 110. But yeah, it's just look at that. Oh, that a little bit, but yeah, just playing that chop. I mean, we broke back below, right? These 4-hour levels. Right, may see some traffic here, right? Smooth sailing here. Some traffic there, right? Where price may get held up. Yeah, just continue to manage it. That's a great play. That's a great play. I like it. Respected that right there. Okay. Yeah, man, that's awesome. Let me take a look at this pound cat walk around these pounds. Just moving sideways. And not doing much. Just choppy. Nothing doing. All right. Well, that's it. All right. It's a good swing out of that 118 zone. But it's not doing anything anymore. It's just moving sideways. So that's because we got some pound weakness, and we know the cat is weak. So it is what it is. Well, hey, that's a great week, everybody. We're gonna wrap this thing up. We have anybody else in the chat? Nope, that was it. We'll wrap this up. Hey, there's a reason why we show up on Saturday mornings for the Forex Weekly Ritual to get prepared for the upcoming week. So all of you that can make it, we definitely look forward to seeing you there. If not, we record everything. It's the benefit of being a member of the Forex Trade Room. With that being said, I did. Hold on 1 second. We can go back on it though. We can go back on it, Brandy. Take another look at it. You're Aussie. There we go. And that may continue to move to the upside. Pursue TP levels. You're in profit. That's what I'm talking about. That's what it's all about. Congratulations, Brandy. You've been working hard, right? You all are working hard. Great job. Yep. So this becomes just trade management at this point. Okay. Trade management. Maybe you're out of it already. That's cool too. Maybe you've adjusted your stop up above or below. Saying, hey, if it continues, I'll let it ride. If not, it'll stop me out in profit. Stop profit. Okay. So that's it. Hey. Yep. Drop her some sevens. That's it, Michelle. I forgot to do that. Right? Some sevens in there. Bam. Congratulations. You all are working hard. For sure. Look at all that support. That's awesome. Well, with that being said, we look forward to seeing everybody that can make it 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for the Forex Weekly Ritual on Saturday. Enjoy the rest of your week. Enjoy your Friday. Have a good night, everybody.